So the NBA season is starting tomorrow, and because of that, I wanted to come out here and give my predictions for how I think the 2022 NBA season is going to be playing out. Now, real quick, before the video does get started, please go ahead and check out my podcast if you guys haven't already. The link to it is in the description below. But without further ado, here are my predictions for how I think this year will be playing out. Now, starting out with the Eastern Conference, coming in at first place, I have the Milwaukee Bucks. Coming in at second, I have the Brooklyn Nets. 3, I have the Miami Heat. 4, I have the Hawks. 5, I have the New York Knicks. 6, I got the Chicago Bulls. 7, I got the 76ers. 8, I got the Celtics. 9, I have the Hornets. 10, I got the Pacers. 11, I have the Raptors. 12, I got the Wizards. 13, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers. 14, I have the Detroit Pistons. 15, I have the Orlando Magic. Look, the Eastern Conference, it was so hard to predict this conference because it's the best it's been, and there are so many, decent teams. And the Bulls and Knicks, they are probably two of the most improved teams, after the offseason. And I think both of them, they are going to be very good, this year. And overall, I'm really excited to see how the Eastern Conference plays out because the play-in race, I think it's going to be super tight. I could see a team as low as the Detroit Pistons making it to the play-in, and maybe you could make a case for the Orlando Magic, but I guess realistically, in my opinion, I think the Pistons, are probably the lowest seeded team in my predictions that could, realistically, make the play-in tournament in my eyes. But hey, man, there's a limited number of spots for how many teams that can make the play-in and the playoffs. So if your team, missed the cut, I truly am sorry. But hey, man, I'm super excited to see how this plays out. I guess another thing I will address is the Brooklyn Nets at number 2. Some people might find that surprising considering how talented they are. However, I'm not sure how many games Kyrie Irving will play and if he's going to be playing at all. So because of that, that's going to affect how many wins they'll get. Plus, I think they will prioritize load management this year in the regular season because they know they are pretty much a lock to make the playoffs. So they might have the mindset of let's try and rest our guys for the playoffs, and I can completely understand that. And because of that, I think the Nets, they're still going to be really good just based off how much talent they have on that roster, because even without Kyrie Irving, they're still one of the best teams in the NBA. But because of that, because the whole Kyrie stuff and the load management stuff that'll happen, in my opinion, that I have them at number 2. But overall, that's what I think the Eastern Conference, it's super good, as I said before, and I'm really excited to see how it plays out. But moving on to the Western Conference, at number 1, I have the Phoenix Suns. Number 2, I have the Utah Jazz. Number 3, you got the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 4, the Golden State Warriors. 5, I have the Denver Nuggets. 6, I got the Clippers. 7, I have the Dallas Mavericks. 8, I have the Portland Trailblazers. 9, the Memphis Grizzlies. 10, I got the Timberwolves. 11, I got the Pelicans. 12, I have the Kings. 13, I have the Houston Rockets. 14, the Oklahoma City Thunder. And 15, the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the Western Conference is still pretty good, but you can make a case that right now the Eastern Conference is better given how many teams, the injuries that, that have really plagued the Western Conference, like Denver, they have Jamal Murray out for a good portion of the regular season. Kawhi Leonard of the Clippers is probably going to be missing all of the regular season, and that's going to affect how good the Clippers will be this year. Plus, Klay Thompson, it looks like he's going to be returning sometime in December, so that he's going to be out for 2 months, and that he's him being out, it's obviously going to be affecting how many games the Golden State Warriors win. But this Western Conference, it's still very stacked, and I could see the middle portion of the play-in and of the top 8 seeds. I could see it being very interchangeable, but that's just again, this is just what I think. I guess addressing some of the teams like the Sacramento Kings. Look, man, until the Kings fire Luke Walton, I just can't see them doing much. And the Pelicans, Zion, he's gonna be, it looks like he'll miss some time to start out the year, so that's not gonna be fun. Plus, there's still some question marks, and I do want to say, the Lonzo Ball stuff, man, I really wish they bring back Lonzo Ball. Devontae Graham, he's not bad, but he's a clear downgrade from Lonzo Ball, and I do think Lonzo Ball leaving will definitely, that's definitely going to hurt the Pelicans, and I think it will show this season. 10, I got the Timberwolves. I know people might find that a little bit shocking, but I do think the Timberwolves will be pretty decent this year. They got some real talent on that team, and as long as they can stay healthy, and if this, Chris Finch guy, if he can continue to be a good coach, I mean, I think the Timberwolves will be a solid team, and they could definitely be higher than number 10. The Mavericks at 7 also might be shocking to some people, but look, I'm just not a huge fan of the offseason. I like the Reggie Bullock signing, but like, I just don't think he'll be big enough to really, make Dallas like a top 3 seed in the Western Conference, even though Luka Doncic is super good and they do have some solid players around him. Also, I'm just not sure how good of a coach Jason Kidd will be in his first year with the team, plus Kristaps Porzingis. How good will he be? And then the Clippers at 6, and I think Paul George is gonna have an MVP caliber year. Plus, they got some good, some decent supporting pieces around him, and I think they'll have career seasons as well. And I think they will be good enough to just keep their head above water. The Nuggets at 5, I could be a little bit biased here, but I think it's kind of like the Clippers. I think Jokic will be good enough, to carry this team to a decent amount of wins. Plus Michael Porter Jr., I think he's going to be very good this year, and he could definitely win most improved player. Plus they got some nice role players, and I think they will be good enough to have their head above water until Jamal Murray comes back, whenever that is. The Warriors, I think they're primed to finally just really bounce back this time with Klay Thompson being healthy, and I really love their offseason. The Lakers at 3, I mean, that one might be a little bit shocking to some people given how talented they are, but I think the regular season, this is similar to the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Lakers will prioritize load management. Like, I think LeBron James in the regular season, he won't be as aggressive as he usually is, like in the playoffs and stuff like that, or like when he's going 100%. I think he's gonna be like a little bit less aggressive in the regular season, and they will load manage because they know they are essentially a lock. But because of the age, they know age is still like a real factor, so they want to try and keep these guys fresh for the playoffs, and I can 100% understand that. And because of that, I think the Los Angeles Lakers are gonna be winning a little bit less regular season games than expected of some people. And then 2, I have the Jazz. That might be a little bit shocking, but look, man, even though the Jazz are my least favorite team, and I am a Denver Nuggets fan, the Utah Jazz are not that bad of a team. Plus, they're built to win regular season games. Rudy Gobert, he's going to carry that defense to being one of the best in the league. Plus, they're a very good 3-point shooting team, and that's just a formula for winning regular season games. How they do in the playoffs, we'll have to see, but I think they will win a lot of regular season games. But those are my, standings predictions. Now, getting on to my play-in and playoff predictions. So for the play-in, I have the Bulls beating the Pacers, Celtics over the Hornets, the Bulls beating, then I have the Bulls beating the Celtics, so the Bulls and the Celtics make it to the playoffs. For the West play-in, I have the Mavericks beating the Timberwolves, the Trailblazers beating the Grizzlies, and I have the Mavericks beating the Trailblazers, so the Mavericks and the Trailblazers make it to the playoffs. Now, going over my playoff predictions for the Eastern Conference, I have the Bucks beating the Celtics in 6, the Nets beating the Bulls in 5, the Heat beating the 76ers in 6, and the Knicks beating the Hawks in 7. The Hawks and Knicks series, it could go either way, but I just think the Knicks will slightly edge out the Atlanta Hawks. After that, I have the Bucks beating the Knicks in 7. I have the Nets beating the Heat in 7. And then I have the Bucks beating the Nets in 7. And I mean, that series, the Nets and Bucks series, it can go either way, but ultimately, with Kyrie out, I think the Bucks will slightly edge out the Nets, but it's going to be a grueling and super fun series, man. Then for my West playoff predictions, I have the Suns beating the Trailblazers in 5, Utah beating Dallas in 6, the Lakers slightly edging out the Clippers in 7, and the Nuggets beating the Warriors in 7. I could have a little bit of bias with the Nuggets prediction, but it's my thoughts. After that, I got the Nuggets beating the Suns in 7. That could be surprising to some people, but I do think Jamal Murray, with him being back, I definitely think he can tip the scale into Denver's favor. And I know it is just one player, but hey, man, sometimes one player can be the real difference in a series, especially, it really just depends, on their skill level. And Jamal Murray in the playoffs, he is a superstar caliber player. After that, I have the Lakers beating the Jazz in 6 games. And for my Western Conference final position, prediction, I hated to do this, but I had my Nuggets losing to the Lakers in 6 games. And that sets up my NBA finals, which is the Bucks and the Lakers. And I have the Bucks beating the Lakers in 7 games. Ultimately, I do think the Westbrook, his ball dominance, and I think we've seen this numerous times. Russell Westbrook's ball dominance really hurts his team, and when the ball's out of his hands, teams kick it out to him, and he shoots the three. I mean, chances are it's just not gonna drop, and they're just gonna leave him open. And I think it's gonna hurt the Lakers, and ultimately I do think the Bucks, I mean, they're still a very good team as well, and I have the Bucks slightly edging out the Lakers in 7, as I said before. My Finals MVP, I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now going through my awards predictions real quick. MVP, I have Stephen Curry. Defensive Player of the Year, I have Bam Adebayo. Most Improved Player, I have Kevin Porter Jr. Sixth Man of the Year, I got Jordan Poole. Rookie of the Year, I have Cade Cunningham. And Coach of the Year, I went with Nate McMillan. But those are my predictions for how I think this year will play out. Thank you guys so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. Hit that like button if you guys really enjoyed it. It really helps out the channel. Plus, make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I'm finally gonna do a face reveal. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.